What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Motivation Monday. I'm happy to have you guys back. Today we'll be doing part 2 of the 9-part series over the 9 dimensions of wellness. Today we'll be covering cultural well-being. Now, this is a topic that's not super well known, especially when people think of the word well-being, but I think it's super important, especially in today's day and age. So, grab yourself a good notepad, some water or some coffee, and let's get going right after this. What's up, everyone? I'm Irvin Ramirez, your host today here from Feel Good Digital Media. I'm happy you guys are back here for another episode of Monday Motivation. Like I said, this is our mini-series covering the 9 dimensions of wellness, and today's dimension is cultural well-being. Like I said in the intro, this isn't a topic that most people talk about in regards to their well-being, but it's definitely a very important one to discuss, especially now. So in today's video, I will be telling you what cultural well-being is, some questions to keep in mind, why it's important, and then I'll give you just a little backstory of me to kind of tie it all together, and then that'll be it. So what is cultural well-being, right? So I want to read you this definition first, and then we'll kind of break down the definition and kind of really sum up what cultural well-being is. So the definition is the ability to respect all aspects of diversity, right? It includes being aware of one's own cultural background, as well as the diversity and richness present in other cultural backgrounds. A culturally well individual understands and appreciates the benefits from diversity in sexual orientation, religion, gender, racial and ethnic backgrounds, age groups, disabilities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. So that's a pretty long definition compared to what we had last week in career well-being. And speaking of career well-being, if you haven't checked out that video yet, there should be a link up here in the corner somewhere to take you to that video. So once you're done with this one, you can go and check that one out. But going back to cultural well-being, you could really sum up with just a few words, just being able to respect your own cultural background and respecting others' cultural background as well. It encompasses everything that falls under the umbrella of culture, and as I talked about some of those subcategories there, like socioeconomic status, religion, sexual orientation, race and ethnicity, all of that stuff encompasses what cultural well-being is all about. And kind of thinking about those groups in specific, you can kind of tell why it's important, especially nowadays, to speak on that. So hopefully that kind of gave you a broad idea of what cultural well-being, and now let's move on to some questions to keep in mind. Now that I told you the definition, let's kind of dive into some questions to keep in mind in order to kind of think on about our own cultural well-being and see how we're doing in this dimension of wellness. So question number 1 is, do I keep an open mind and avoid dealing in stereotypes? So this is a pretty hard question, because when we deal with stereotypes or we deal with being open-minded, it's very self-reflective type of question. And especially with stereotypes, it's a concept that you could be doing without even realizing, right? So in order to really reflect on this question, you're gonna have to do some real self-evaluation on how you treat others, and your tendencies around different people that don't look like you or aren't into the same things as you. And that can be difficult. And it's not just about what you say, right? What do you think when you're around these people? Or how does your body respond? Do you tense up? Do you or do you feel like you're fully in a conversation, you're fully open-minded to meet new people? So that was question number 1, which was, do I keep an open mind and avoid dealing in stereotypes? All right, so question number 2, which is what the question that we got told through my elementary school to all my grade schooling time, and I don't know if you guys did too, but it's, do I treat others in ways I want to be treated, right? For us, it was known as the golden rule, just treat others the way you want to be treated. again, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Just ask, how do I treat others? Do I treat other people fairly, or do I go into situations already having some preconceived ideas of people, and try to fix that. If you feel like you are treating people differently because of the color of their skin or their socioeconomic status, try to take a step back and reflect why you think those things, and see if you can, kind of change that in a more positive way. So, like I said, question number 2 is, do I treat others in the ways I want to be treated? Awesome. So now, question number 3 is, do I seek out opportunities to expand my cultural knowledge by visiting stores, restaurants, conversations, exhibitions, and performances in other such locations? So, basically, do you allow yourself to be immersed in other people's cultures, right? Do you go to a Vietnamese store or a Mexican store, right, to just kind of see what they're like? Or do you go to concerts for artists that don't speak the same language as you? Do you go to museums or different, poetry nights, things like that you can do to fully immerse yourself into other people's culture, right? And I think it's important for us to be, in order to be able to relate to someone else, you gotta try to understand where they're coming from, right? And you can't do that by not, putting yourself out there and putting yourself in situations that maybe you're not necessarily super comfortable with, but that will help you grow in the long run, right? So, you don't have to go to everything, you don't have to go to things every single day, but I encourage you to kind of step out of your comfort zone a little bit and go into some of these, restaurants that are from different cultures, and try different foods, listen to different music, hear some different materials, just to expose you a little bit to other people's cultures. So, question number 3 was, do I seek out opportunities to expand my cultural knowledge by visiting stores, restaurants, conversations, exhibitions, and performances, and other such locations? Sweet. So question number 4 now is, do I show openness to create friendships with others who do not look, act, or believe as I do? Right, so this question kind of goes along with everything I've been talking about, and it's just that concept of being open-minded and allowing yourself to truly try to learn where someone else is coming from and what their background is like. If you feel pretty hesitant to get to know other people because they look different than you, or practice a different religion than you, or just have different views than you, then you're missing out on so many experiences that you might really enjoy, but you're too afraid to speak to someone that's not the same as you, right? So I highly encourage you to, kind of speak with people that aren't like you and that aren't like-minded as you, right? This will help you expand your own horizons. It'll allow you to experience things that you may have never experienced otherwise. So I encourage you to just get out there and kind of learn more about, what makes someone them. The same way you want people to know what makes you you, you should also allow other people to show you why they are them. So question number 4 was, do I show openness to create friendships with others who do not look, act, or believe as I do? And now, the last question number 5 is, do I look to educate myself as well as others on different cultural aspects? Right, and that kind of just ties everything together on, am I willing to try to educate myself on other people's cultures, as well as am I willing to educate others on my own culture? Right, I think it's important to do that give and take relationship with other people. You want to be able to learn from other people, and you want people to also be able to learn from you, right? So take some time to learn about the people that are around you that aren't like you, and then you share some stuff about you as well, and that'll help us be more cohesive as a people, right, as a human race. So like I said, question number 5 was, do I look to educate myself as well as others on different cultural aspects? Sweet. So after all of that, I hope you're able to kind of take away what cultural well-being is, and just some quick question to keep in mind, to ponder, to see where you're at on your cultural well-being. Now I want to speak a little bit on why it's important, right, and why I think, kind of give you a little bit of my take on why this should be a more talked about subject. It's important to talk about your cultural well-being because we live in a time that's very divided. You know, we live in a time where we highlight each other's differences far more than we highlight each other's similarities, right? We try to divide ourselves as much as we can by putting different labels on each other and really making everybody into cliques, right? Into different groups, and just kind of thinking that people will stick to these, right? And that's not right. There's so many wonderful experiences that other people that don't look like us, or like yourself, or like myself, that can teach you just so many things about life in general, that it's a great shortcoming if you don't expose yourself to that, right? This world it is a wonderful place full of a lot of great things, and if you stick to your circle, you only get to witness a small portion of it, right? And what's the fun in that? There's so many other things that are just beautiful about this world and about other people's cultures that you should want to try to explore. And you might learn something that you really enjoy that you otherwise would have not even considered before, right? One quick thing regarding expanding your cultural well-being and learning about other people's cultures. Remember that one person does not reflect the entirety of the demographic that you're kind of wanting to learn more about, right? Everybody's their own individual. Everybody has their own battles, their own adversities, their own journey. So remember that not every individual speaks for the majority of the group, right? So make sure that you keep that in mind as you go and ask about different things regarding people's culture and habits and things like that. It is important to learn about other people, but remember that you're learning about that specific person, not just an entire group. So that's kind of what I wanted to leave you guys with. I hope you were able to take away a few things here from going over cultural well-being. Like I said, I think it's a very important topic right now that can really help us come together more as a people, right? So make sure you keep your cultural well-being in mind as you go forward. I hope you were able to learn what it is, some questions to keep in mind, and why it's important, and why I think it's important nowadays. So as always, the link to the last video will be up in the corner somewhere, right? And there's a playlist to watch the rest of the videos that are at the end of the video. Like I always say, just go out there and feel good. So see you all next week. Peace out.